Boy is a complete failure at baseball and gets bullied for it, but after recovering from a broken arm, he suddenly gains superpowers and becomes a star. Henry Garner, a 12-year-old boy and a die-hard baseball fan, lives in a constant state of sports delirium. He dreams day and night of becoming a professional player, training as if he were the next Babe Ruth, but with much less talent. Unfortunately, the school coach has the critical eye of a judge on America's Got Talent and constantly benches Henry. When, by luck or misfortune, the boy is called onto the field, he has the peculiar talent of turning every game into a disaster. His home life doesn't help much either. He lives with his loving mother, Mary, who is dating Jack. Henry despises Jack but pretends to tolerate him to keep the peace. Like any typical American boy, Henry idolizes the Chicago Cubs and often imagines himself playing for the team while doing laundry. Meanwhile, his platonic crush, Becky, only makes him clumsier, especially when he tries to impress her on the playground and ends up dislocating his arm in a fall. After months in a cast and full of frustration, Henry finally gets rid of the bandages. To celebrate the big day, Mary gives him and his friends tickets to see the Cubs play, who are in such a long losing streak that even the most loyal fans are considering switching sports. During the game, the team's ace pitcher, Chet Steadman, gets humiliated again. To make matters worse, Henry is pressured by his friends and the crowd to throw the ball back onto the field. After hesitating like someone who didn't study for an exam, he throws the ball, and it flies an incredible 435 feet at absurd speed. The crowd goes wild, the commentators are stunned, and Larry Fisher, the Cubs manager, has an epiphany. He needs that kid on his team. The next day, Cubs representatives show up at Henry's door with an offer for a tryout. The boy, of course, accepts, and his dream is about to come true. At practice, Henry surprises everyone by throwing pitches at over 100 miles per hour. Larry Fisher, who comes across more like a used car salesman, even offers Jack a bonus to convince Henry to sign with the team. Henry makes his official debut against the New York Mets. Nervous and under pressure in a packed stadium, his first pitch results in a home run for the opposing team, and the batter mocks him on his way out. But Henry, ever resilient, regains his composure and, despite a few bad throws, helps the Cubs win. After the game, he tries to talk to Becky but is just as clumsy as before. Meanwhile, his mother and Chet start growing closer, forming a bond that Jack obviously cannot stand. As the games go by, Henry becomes a phenomenon. He pitches, steals bases, and even taunts pitchers, leading the Cubs to consecutive victories. The boy becomes such a big success that even Pepsi wants him as a spokesperson. However, this fame begins to alienate him from his friends, especially as he loses focus on the boat-building project they were working on together. Jack, taking advantage of the chaos, tricks Mary into signing a contract to sell Henry to the Yankees, pocketing a fortune for himself and ensuring Chet gets fired. Meanwhile, Chet learns that his contract won't be renewed. Though devastated, he decides to move on like a true veteran, with dignity and a touch of sarcasm. And well, I wouldn't want to be Jack, the master manipulator sabotaging everyone's life. On the other hand, I'd act like Chet, who, despite being at the lowest point in his career, still finds time to mentor young Henry and reconnect with Mary. Fun fact, director Thomas Ian Nicholas, who also plays Henry, actually trained to pitch like a pro during filming. That's true dedication to the role. Back home, Jack tries to play the bully with Henry and forces him into photo sessions. When Henry refuses, Jack seizes the opportunity to spew venom, insinuating that Henry's father was a coward who left them for another woman. Mary, overhearing the absurdity, decides it's time for action, Rocky Balboa style. She confronts Jack, lands a well-deserved punch, and kicks him out of the house. With Jack out of the picture, Henry apologizes to his friends for neglecting them, and they forgive him. Together, they finish the boat. The fun continues as they take Becky and her friends for a lake trip. It almost feels like a 90s pop music video, complete with laughter, crystal clear waters, and exchanged glances between Henry and Becky. After an amazing day, Henry talks with his mom about the future and decides he won't play next season. On the day of the big game, Henry and his mom meet the Cubs owner and make it clear he's out for next year. Still curious, Henry asks why they wanted to sell him, but the boss dodges the question like a secret agent. At the start of the game, the coach puts Chet on the mound. Even with an injured shoulder, Chet goes all in, showing incredible courage. But his shoulder starts acting up again, forcing him to improvise. In a moment of sheer adrenaline, Chet runs with the ball to tag the runner out. With no other options, the coach hands the ball to Henry, asking him to win the game. Determined but aware this will be his last match, Henry steps onto the field to deafening applause. He starts strong, helping the Cubs pull ahead, but near the end, he takes a tumble. The impact is reminiscent of his initial injury, and he realizes his magic arm is gone. The audience and commentators are in shock. Henry calls a team huddle, reveals his condition, and, like a true strategist, devises a wild plan with some clever tricks. The fake play works to tag one runner out, but the next batter doesn't fall for it. Henry decides to taunt the opponent. The trick works, and he eliminates another runner with a mix of skill and audacity. Now, only one batter stands between the Cubs and victory. The problem is the same intimidating guy who crushed Henry in his first game. Henry throws a pitch so slow it looks like a Matrix special effect. Shockingly, the batter misses. On the second pitch, he hits a foul ball, leaving the count at 2 strikes. Inspired by how his mom applies sunscreen, yes, you read that right, Henry mimics the motion. The result? An epic strikeout and a Cubs victory. The stadium erupts into chaos. In the final scene, Henry is shown playing in a youth league, without his magic arm, but with skills honed through effort. Becky, his crush, is now his biggest fan. And I definitely wouldn't try pitching with an injured arm like Chet did. That was highly irresponsible. The central theme of facing fears and teamwork is a timeless lesson. So, if you had a magic arm like Henry's, would you use it for baseball or another sport? Let me know in the comments below. And now, check out this video, just click on the screen, and I promise you'll love it. See you there.